I want to especially appreciate President Erdogan's initiative in organizing this virtual summit. Convening the summit in these difficult times is a reflection of collective commitment to ECO. We commend Secretary General Hadi Suleimanpur for ably leading the organization work. Pakistan congratulates Turkmenistan as the next ECO chair. But I especially want to congratulate President Ilham Aliyev on successful liberation of Azerbaijan's occupied territories. Excellencies, in 2017 we celebrated the Silver Jubilee of expansion of ECO membership and adopted the landmark ECO Vision 2025 and the Islamabad Declaration. It reflected Pakistan's strong resolve to advance our institutional goals and energize ECO as a dynamic organization for regional cooperation. Excellencies, the focus of our present summit, regional economic cooperation in the aftermath of COVID-19, is both apt and timely. Like the rest of the world, the member states of ECO have been severely affected by the unprecedented health and economic crises unleashed by COVID-19 pandemic. Over 115 million people have been infected by the virus, and more than 2.5 million people have lost their lives. The world is grappling with pandemic's multiple dimensions. The full extent of its health, social, financial, and economic impact on our countries has yet to be fully determined. It is evident that developing countries, including ECO members, have been disproportionately affected. Our economies have contracted, trade has declined, poverty and inequality has increased. Excellencies, we in Pakistan realize that we must prevent our people from dying from the virus and from hunger. We face these twin challenges like a lot of the developing world. We pursued a people and poor-centric approach, and doing this very difficult balancing act, saving lives, securing livelihoods, and at the same time stimulating the economy. An extremely difficult balancing act. And despite our financial constraints, my government allocated an unprecedented $8 billion to support the poorest and the most vulnerable households, and then small businesses with direct cash handouts, and then subsidies to the poor under our SARS program. Excellencies, the COVID-19 pandemic is not over. We must ensure that our people secure the earliest possible access to vaccines being produced, but on an affordable and equitable basis. The vaccine must be declared a global public good, because actually no one will be safe from the virus unless everyone is safe. Pakistan has begun its vaccination drive, but it has only so far concentrated on the frontline health workers, which obviously is everyone's highest priority. We must also address the economic impact of the pandemic. The world economy has contracted by 5%. The rich countries have injected $20 trillion to stimulate their economies. I again repeat, the rich countries have injected $20 trillion. Our economies have been equally affected, but we do not have the capacity or fiscal space to create such liquidity. I have proposed a five-point plan to provide developing countries the fiscal space to recover from COVID crisis. And this includes debt relief, SDR SDR creation and redistribution, concessional finance, mobilization of climate finance, because that's another crisis looming ahead, and then ending illicit financial flows and return of stolen assets back to the developing countries. Because, Excellencies, $1 trillion every year, according to FactEye, $1 trillion every year leaves poor countries to rich countries and tax havens. Excellencies, apart from its health and economic consequences, the COVID crisis has exacerbated the manifestations of religious discrimination, xenophobia, and Islamophobia in various parts of the world. We have witnessed this in our immediate neighborhood. The COVID lockdowns have enabled the suppression of people in occupied territories, struggling for their right to self-determination. And then, for all the leadership, I would want to point this out. It is essential to reject any attempt to link Islam and terrorism. To link in Islam and terrorism is the biggest injustice which is being done to Muslims in the world. Similarly, we must oppose attempts where freedom of expression is used to cause pain to Muslims by denigrating our holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. At the UN, Pakistan, Turkey and OIC countries have initiated a proposal for the annual observance of an international day to combat Islam.